Alright, let's talk about how we can sketch graphs that look like that. What are the H and K? They just represent numbers. So let's talk about a specific example. We want to draw the graph down here. Y equals x take 2 all squared take 5. That's the graph we want to draw. And I'm going to teach you how you do that. You firstly, rule number 1, over here. You draw the graph of y equals x squared. Now how do you do that? We've got 5 points here. You only really need 3 points. You need this point, that point, and that point. You've got to know that to draw the graph of y equals x squared, you need the point 0, 0, the point 1, 1, and the point negative 1, 1. That is to draw the graph of y equals x squared. Alright? So what we do is we put our axes, we put our y-axis and our x-axis. And then we plot these points. We plot 0, 0, it goes right there. And then if I use a different colour, we plot 1, 1, goes right there, the blue. And then we plot negative 1, 1 over here. Then, to draw your quadratic, you just join up the dots and you get the equation or the drawing of your quadratic. So that's y equals x squared. But we want to draw this thing over here. We want to draw y equals x take 2 all squared take 5. Now remember, the red is what you have to remember. So first thing you have to remember out from here is that y equals x squared, you need to draw those points. The second thing, if you have brackets, the number inside the bracket is, if it's positive, that number inside the brackets, you move the graph to the left. If it is negative, you move the graph to the right. If you do not have brackets, if it is positive, you move it up, and if it's negative, you move it down. They are the key bits of information you must know for this section. So let's have a look at our graph over here in the green. We've got y equals x take 2 all squared take 5. Let's look. The number inside the bracket, it's negative. So we are going to move this 2 to the right. The number without the brackets, no brackets, is also negative. That means we are going to move it down. So we know that we need to move our graph of y equals x squared that we just drew here in the green. We've got to move that 2 to the right and 5 down. How do we do that? Well, what we do is we move these individual points that we just drew. We move them. We move them 2 to the right and 5 down. So for example, let's start here at 0, 0. I'm going to move them 1, 2 to the right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. And I get this point here. You don't have to put those lines in. This is just to help. So you get that point there. Then move this one. We're going to move it 1, 2 to the right. And then we're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to move it down 5. And we get this point here. And then finally, we've got this point here. We're going to move that 2 to the right. Moving it 1, 2 to the right. And then moving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. And I get that point there. I get the yellow points. Alright, now there's a lot of points going on that graph, so I'm just going to clear some of it off so it doesn't get so confusing. You get the picture. You move the points 2 to the right and 5 down, and you get those points, which you can then connect up, and you've got your new graph. So 2 rules. 1, draw y equals x squared. You do that using these points down here. And then you move key points. 3 key points. H across and K up or down. What that means is if it's in brackets, you move it across. If it's not in brackets, you move it up and down. Let's just think about one more example of that. A bit of a simpler example of that. What about if you had the graph y equals x squared plus 4? Now this case, you have no brackets. That means h is 0. Alright, so h is 0. You do not move it across. All you worry about is this. That's not in the brackets and it's positive. If you look back on that those notes that I said you must know, that means you move it up 4. So we get a graph of y equals x squared. That's the first thing. 1, draw y equals x squared. So we get our graph of y equals x squared. We draw the points 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that's 1. 1, -1, 1, and -1. We draw 1, 1, we draw -1, 1, and we join it up. And what we get is the graph of y equals x squared. That's all I've done. I haven't drawn my graph yet at all. But then, 2, I'm going to move the points. So I'm going to move them up 4. Let's go. If I've got this at 1, I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move it up to there. I'm going to move this one 1, 2, 3, 4, about to there. And this one 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move it about to there. Alright? So I've moved all my points. If you're doing this on graph paper, it's a bit easier, and I get my new graph. The final type that's a bit like that is if you don't have moving it up and down and you're just moving it across. So say you had y equals x take 6 all squared. Alright, all that's saying is, well, let's go plus, just for fun. We have brackets, and we have a plus in the brackets. That means we move it left. Alright, that's the bits of information you need to know that. So, we're going to draw y equals x squared, which we've already got drawn from part A, so we wouldn't need to redraw it. We've got our key points, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, and -1, 1. What we do is we join those points up. Join them up. Join them up. It looks like that. Now, the brackets, the number in the bracket is positive, so we're going to move it 6 left. Let's move each of these points 6 left. Starting with this one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Gets to here. We don't move it up and down because we don't have a number here. Then here, let's move this 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We've moved it 6 left, and then we join it up. Let's just quickly review what we just said. If we have got y equals a graph like this, and we have to draw this. This is when we have to sketch a graph like this. Alright? We first plot these points. 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, and -1, 1. Then we move it. We move the graph. If the number in the brackets is positive, you move it left. If it's negative, you move it right. If you've got no brackets, you move it. The number which isn't in brackets, positive is up, negative is down. If you've got both, then you're going to move it left and right, and up and down. Have a look at these notes on DayMap. You should be able to understand them now and be able to do section A of the revision questions. Have fun with that. Positive. E. Section E is super simple. It's simpler than section D. Okay, can you all please listen to section section E. If you listen from the start, you're going to find it a lot easier than if you try and pick it up. It says to write the equation of a circle. Again, if it says to write the equation, don't draw it. It's asking you to write the equation. So just write the equation. Remember, what's the general equation of a circle? Can you tell me? Someone write it down if you...
X minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals...
Alright, so it says, write the equation of a circle with a centre, 2, -5, and radius 4. 2, -5. What is A and what is B? A is 2. B is what? Livia. A is 2. What's B? -5. Good. Alright. What is your radius? Your radius is 4. It tells you that. That means R equals 4.
Ready?
Alright. Let's write your generic equation. Write the generic equation. The generic equation is going to be x take a all squared plus y take b all squared equals r squared. Tell me what to write. Someone. What am I going to write?
3.
X take what?
3.
2. A is 2. A is 2. Pardon?
Which one are we doing? A what?
Neither of the ones on there. Oh, right. So what you said was right.
Yeah.
If you were doing that one, yeah. X take 2 all squared plus, now b is negative 5. So we're going to write y minus negative 5 all squared. Alright? B is negative 5. Equals r squared equals 4 squared. So therefore our equation is x take 2 all squared plus y plus 5 all squared, because negative negative is a plus, alright, equals 4. You can leave it as 4 squared, you can change it to 16 if you want, up to you. Alright, so that's it, section E. It's probably the easiest section, okay?
There's my radius.
So you should be able to do section E. Section B is the hardest section. I can go through it with the last 10 minutes or something. I'll go through it and I'll record what I'm saying so that if you so you can go and watch that again at home and practice doing the questions.
I don't know how to make them properly.
What should I eat? What is the canned pizza they're going to Friday? Euros? What's the euros? Euros. Fat bread with
Yeah, for sure.
I need to lose 3 kilos. Why? I'm going to Brisbane for a boxing tournament. Wednesday, no, I'm going for 5 days, and then I come back on like Sunday or something.
You get on the board so that like the
You don't have to do section B. Can you go read what's on the board on section B or one of these? Section B. See if it makes sense. Doesn't like and then you can use it. Yeah, so you do the same. Go over to there on the board and read
Yeah, but euros is more. Or should I buy?
I'm still very glad. So
Yeah, if it's the
Aiden. Kane's
how?
Bro, Friday. All I need to test pineapple. Rate is Friday. Rate is Thursday. General rate was Thursday. Okay, A all squared plus Y take B all squared equals R squared.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, but I'm not even fighting on my
Oh,
side.
see, I'm not like I said that. And we just say he said that in English.
X, Ben. X take A all squared plus Y take B all squared equals R squared. That's the equation of a circle.
Okay. Yeah.
I got told that the radius is 4.
Who told you that?
I told myself that.
Okay.
Therefore, that becomes 4 squared at the end.
Yeah.
Alright?
How much is euros?
$5. Yes.
But I want something at recess.
So, we have to do 3 body paragraph and a conclusion. What's the radius?
Or should I just buy a
That's how you make it into maths.
What?
Yeah.
Go read if you're not sure. Go read what's in
Latte. I don't think I made it right.
How do you say it? How do you say it?
Latte.
No, you don't.
That's how
No, I haven't.
That's how I say it.
Lewis, should, Ben, should. Say it again. We'll comment on your English accent at a different time.
Okay.
Wait, say one more
Yes,
time.
Ben.
Matilda, do your work.
Have you heard it?
I don't want to hear it.
You need to hear it. I don't even know. I don't remember what it sounded like. What was it? Say it.
Later.
No balls. No balls.
Sounds like a dick.
I'm for E now. Wait.
Latte.
Latte.
What?
Latte.
2 negative 5.
Latte. No.
So said 2 negative 5 and radius 4. That's how I said it. You say it. Alex, say it.
Latte.
No. How do you say it?
I don't know.
We just instantly forget it.
Latte.
Latte.
We drink latte.
X minus A.
Can't read that far.
I just really wanted to guess. Say it again. What? Why? No balls. I mixed my hand. That's how you say it. Latte.
No, latte. Like latte, but latte.
Latte. What? Latte. Latte. What? Alex, Ben and Matilda, we've got to make a decision here. You want to keep on this conversation, you can go outside without anything and sit in silence, or you can stay here. You just said keep the conversation going.
Yeah, that would make sense.
In silence. That doesn't even work.
Okay.
Latte.
No, man, it's like equal.
Oh, that's over there.
You should have done the middle line.
I need to get education. Education.
I haven't probably thrown it. Got it.
Wait, no, if anything, I should
More,
have
you
done
don't
it
want
longer.
it. That's probably a pretty good technique.
I just needed to just the graph over.
Can I control it? Now I'm looking. Yeah, the touch there.
Okay, boys, let's fire off.
Yeah, fire off.
You don't have that in the bracket.
No, I'm actually craving a Ross now.
Oh, you're doing D.
Bro, this is too much.
Nah, she just went through E. Yeah, no, we're doing E.
Oh, we're doing E now?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
shit.
formula. Oh, this one.
Well, I mean, I don't think you call it a plane anymore.
I'm just gonna substitute the formula.
3 plus 9.
Oh, 3. Hell yeah! Oh my god.
Genuinely, like, right in the middle. I just want to have the furthest from the sea.
Oh, yeah.
Where else I saw.
What is the time?
8.
Someone say in the middle.
Oh, the dog.
In the middle.
Oh my
Literally.
god, it's 24.
Great.
It's never take a point.
I said there's 24. I said, oh my god, there's 24. What?
No, just the
God.
Oh, okay.
Word
Yeah,
God.
no one does. No one.
I said it.
What did
What did I say?
Just shut
Are you religious? So you don't like the world. What did I say? I said, oh my god, there's 24 holes,
Yeah.
didn't it?
You
I said
did.
a word starting with S. I had whole minutes left. It doesn't start with an Excellent. Alright. Have you done?
Yeah.
You don't just find the wine please.
That was
I am a kid, I'm look at this. Have a read of this. Okay, because that's training. You have to do all of that for part B.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wait, I'm actually matrix. I can make this.
You going for the bin though?
No. I can't see the big.
It's not good.
Just
Yeah. Full balance. Yeah.
I'll have a go. Can't feel like getting up anymore.
It's a little dagger.
Fuck off, Olivia. Yes, not
Well, I'm joking.
What?
So because like in this one, like B equals 2, I don't know that.
You're better
German
than
people are
that.
great. They're cool.
And then I can just do
Most
I don't need to do that.
yeah, German people are not
That's
German.
what you say.
Next thing was traditionally where Scotland and stuff. And she did it.
Oh my.
She was on the table and everyone was doing it. She wasn't.
Yeah.
Did you see that boundary from one there?
Yes, just the right next to the next to the numbers or just like writing like this.
All right, people, do you want me to go through how to do section B?
Oh yeah, we do B A.
Section B, you've done everything. You've done really well this lesson. Well done.
This guy.
It's been recording. That's
Have you
not
done
been
the further
interesting.
Has it been videoing that whole time?